I always want to wait because then sometimes it doesn't start recording immediately. But then if I don't wait, then I'm just staring at the screen. It's like when people start live streams, I feel like it's always like people imagine if you hacked into someone's camera and looked at their phone and like that's what they would look like because they're just like, what's going on here? All right, so live stream, doing a live stream. I normally say I'm going to do another one and then I don't do another one for like a year, but we're doing it. We're doing a live stream. So the reason I have you here, asked you here, is because I want to explain my Pro Spec new comp car, Pro Drift car build plan. Hello, everybody. Rest in peace, Joe Rogan. What? Why do people make stuff up? What's up from Washington State? Put it on slow mode. I tried to do that last time. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. I'm not going to get sidetracked here. I'm going to try to read the comments as best I can, but I go on tangents. You guys know I go on tangents, and I might miss some, but I learned the thing at the top. Okay, we're jibber-jabbering. Already off to a rough start with some jibber-jabber. So, Pro Spec build plan. This is kind of funny, the whole evolution of the Pro Spec build plan. I was going to do a live stream before LS Fest, but I ran out of time. Oh, we got a dog. Blooper! Blue! Come here! Blue, say what's up to everybody. What? Where are you going? Say hi, Blue. Why are you under the table? This is Blue. I'm surprised it wasn't Ella that came. And he's leaving. All right, anyway. Pro Spec build plan. Was going to do a live stream before LS Fest and explain my Pro Spec build plan. Dog food sending love from Fort Myers, Florida. Nick Show. Thank you. Their dog food just showed up, actually. We were almost out. Okay. And I didn't because I ran out of time. And it's funny because if I had done said live stream and told you my build plan, I would have been wrong. I would have had to come tell you, hey, just kidding. Remember how I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z? So I want to go through and explain the whole circle of life that is my build plan. I have been banging my head against the wall trying to decide on what to do. Hello from New Zealand. Hello. Like I said, I'm going to try to answer these chats as much as I can. We'll get into a bunch of questions. It's just hard to read them and then talk. What breed of dog? He is a lab. The rescue we got him from, super sketchy rescue. And they told us he was a Weimaraner American Bulldog mix. Had none of that in him. None of that. That rescue was so sketchy. We got our other dog, Ella, from this other rescue. It's like she lived in Beverly Hills compared to him living in a trailer park. And it's funny because they act like that. Like, she doesn't know the struggles. Shop talk. We'll get to that. There's not a whole lot to... I'm going to explain what we're doing with the shop and when and whatever, but we're getting there. Pro Spec build plan. So it originally started out, as most of you know, as a Corvette. Corvette, 700 horsepower LS, etc. That was my plan. If I was going to build a new car, a new comp car, that's what I wanted to build. I love the Vettes. Still, like Aaron's Vette, which is very simple, was probably still the best car I've ever driven. Now, granted, that was a long time ago, but you know, they're really good cars. They're really fast in drifts. They drive really well. So that was the plan. But then I got in my head of like, oh, well, so many people are doing Vettes. They're so common now. Like, I kind of want to do something different. And thank you, Mike McIntyre. And then the trans thing makes them difficult. So if you don't know, they are transaxle setup. So the transmission's in the rear. And you don't have a lot of options to put in a race trans in. Like a normal car, boom, pop a GSR or an Andrews dog box right behind the engine, drive shaft, mount a Winners quick change in your subframe, easy peasy. However, with a Vette, it's not that easy. It doesn't work like that. You've either got to rebuild the stock trans, but then it's not as easy to take apart as a race trans, or you can do the front trans. V, thanks for the motivation and knowledge all these years. I would never have taken on a lot of projects without your help and confidence. Thank you. That's so cool to hear. Yeah, so you can do the front trans, but in a Vette, your options are limited. That's what I'm getting at. And they're expensive cars to buy in general. So then I moved on. And the next plan was a Z4 coupe. This is a Chelsea idea. I hit him up asking, what would you build if you're going to build a pro spec car? You should get into rally. I would love to. That's on the bucket list. What would you build if you're building a car now? And he gave me some options. I knew he was going to say BMW chassis. Wait, where did the chat go? Oh, okay, it's back. But then he said Z4M coupe, and I was like, whoa, I had never thought of that. Member for 11 months, so excited for the future with you. Thank you. I never thought of that. And the cool thing is they're shorter wheelbase. Thank you, Derek. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of like a bigger Miata, right? Like a shorter wheelbase, but still E46, E36 style suspension. So then I found one of those for sale, which is an X Pro car, and then a clutch kickers car. And I was thinking about buying that car and putting an LS in it. Then I got the idea shoved in my head of, well, what about a K-Series in that car? Because I was real conflicted. I wanted to build a super light K-Series Miata or something for clutch kickers, but that wouldn't really work well in FD. It'd be way too light and so on and so forth. So then I was like, okay, what about, the LS Z4? But then the ideas merged. And I was like, what about we build a K-Series Z4? And then we can make it super light, add weight to it if we needed to weight it up and get the weight where we need it, and kind of do both, like have a setup to do clutch kickers that's like everything as light as possible, and then have the setup to do pro spec. So anyway, that sounded really cool. But then I was like, well, if I'm going to do something different, like a K-Series, we could do a common chassis like an E36. I love E36s. I love the way they look. I don't like working on them. There's things I don't love about them. But I liked the cars. I love the way they look. Brandon Rawlick, thank you for the great content. Encourage me to build my STI every video. That's awesome. Don't be intimidated. Just dive in. It's all nuts and bolts. So that was kind of the plan. E36 K-Series. And I bounced back and forth between that and like something with an LS. I wasn't even really sure what, because I don't want to build another E36, E46 with an LS. NASCAR mate, thank you. But the K-Series sounded so cool. Like the K-Series in my head, most fun. Most fun to build, most fun to drive. Rowdy K-Series noises, pops and bangs and flames shooting out the hood, and do like a fresh air anti-lag system like is on Turek's. Both his old pro car and the what do they call it? His East Coast car. Where it's just freaking shooting flames, just the excitement of that. A rowdy turbo setup. And that's really where my heart was. That's what I really wanted to build. But a couple problems. One, it's kind of tricky. There's not really anyone who makes a dog box adapter for a K-Series. You can buy like this adapter for a sequential that kind of works, but then you got to build it. Sandy! Then you got to build a custom clutch and so on and so forth. So that was the tough part. But the biggest thing for me is I've always said, if you can keep an NA motor in your car, like it's going to be more reliable. Drist, have you thought about an IS300? Briefly, but not. I'd be into it as more of a street car. So turbo car, more problems. You have way more failure points. I mean, simple little things can go wrong. You can crack a wastegate tube, or you can crack an exhaust runner, or something happens to a charge pipe. Or, if you have a situation like we had in the Miata with clogged up injectors on an NA motor, I mean, you could hurt it, a crazier NA motor. But on my Miata, I didn't care. I drove it with like two down cylinders that were coming on and off for multiple events, and it was fine. It has perfect compression. Turbo car, you are going to blow it up. You're going to melt the piston. Simple as that. So that's kind of what killed the K-Series idea for me. And I was still on board, and I was still thinking about it because we could probably get the car down to like 2,300 pounds. So SC430 LS swap. I do like SCs, but I don't know. I do and I don't. There's really good things about them. Huge engine bays. The suspension's decent, whatever, but I hate the way they look. I hate big, long cars. I don't even really like Supras for that reason. They're so freaking long. If it's going to be long, it needs to be four-door. So, K-Series. Was sold on it. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Thought about it for a long time. Then we went to LS Fest. And LS Fest, I mean, of course, there's a lot of LSs. but the idea kind of transformed. So I had already thought about the fact that with a V8 and a lot of torque, you are always going to be an advantage over a turbo car that doesn't make as much torque. You think about it like a clutch kickers, right? You've got two people tandeming. So one guy, let's say I'm following and I've got a turbo car. We come through the turn, we transition, and then I need to get on the gas before he even gets on the gas because I've got to wait for my turbo to spool up. So I have to be a second and a half early. Whereas if I have a V8 with a blower that makes 1,200 foot-pounds of torque at like 3,000 RPM, I can be late. I can be delayed. I can not be on my game and still hit the gas, light the tires up immediately, dive back in on his door. Robert May, love your content. Always interested. Oh, I lost it. Team to beat me. Freedom 500. Yes, excited about that. Maybe me and Kevin will get it this time, man. That was rough. We had that wind stripped from us last time. You got spun like a couple laps from the end. That was the most stressful thing ever. Trying to watch a race that you could win. I've never experienced that before. So stressful. So stressed. Sandy, why do you do that? She claws the corner of the walls. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. So anyway, Freedom 500. Yes. Well, this is 2.4 hours of lay mullets. What about a 180SX with an LS? I like the idea of an S chassis. I do, but they're getting harder to find, and they've sorted them out. They make so much suspension stuff to where you can make one work and be fast. I mean, proof's in the pudding. James Dean, Piator, Odie's still in an S chassis. But that's just not what I want for a comp car. I don't want another S chassis. So, E36, K-Series, was the plan. That was the plan. That's what I really wanted to do. That's where my heart was. However, logic came in, and NA V8, if I only need 700 horsepower and I can get that out of an NA V8, it's just going to be more reliable. And I like my stuff to be as turnkey as possible. I mean, with the Miata, I try to not have to do anything. We got to go get some E85 from the gas station. That's pretty much it. Change the oil. You know, I don't like having to, I got to set the valve latch and I've got to do this and do that between each round and pull data logs. Like, I didn't even know how to pull a data log for the longest time. G-Force GSR transmissions are amazing. Says you can call them one old drag racer. My boss, tell him to email me because I'm going to need one at some point soon, please. But Alec Honadale, if you guys know Alec, that dude somehow has broken a GSR every single round he has competed. Every single round. I don't know how the man does it. How do you break a GSR? I'd be so upset if I broke an $8,000 transmission every event. Yeah. So, okay, there's another layer of complication that I skipped out on. And Johan said Johan Garcia, RTS 6XD. So that's a really good transmission. That's sequential. But that's where the complication lies. Because if you want to do pro spec, things get complicated. So they've added new rules. And the rules are cool in a sense. Car for Pro and Pro 2, maybe we can help Queen, Texas. That's that's where we're going. So, pro spec, new rules. So they're taking out rear mount radiators. No aftermarket steering columns. Thank you, Freddie. What else? No pedal boxes. And these things sound simple, but if you're trying to buy an old race car or someone's old comp car, they usually have a lot of this stuff. So now you got to go backwards with your car to make it legal for pro spec. You know, in Pro-Am, there's probably more cars that have rear mount radiators than front mount. In clutch kickers, I guarantee you, there's probably more cars with rear mount radiators than front mount. But now front mount or rear mount radiators are no longer allowed. Have you thought about a Skyline so it would feel close to an S chassis LS swap for reliability? I don't think it would be a great chassis for a comp car. Love me some good jibber jabber, thank you. Yeah, so that's where it gets tough because it's like, if I'm going to build a clutch kickers car, I don't want to go all out. I want to do all these things that make it a race car. The way Pro Spec is going is I'd be building another Miata, a car that's like real basic, real simple, like still almost streetable, stock pedal, stock column, front mount radiator, nothing cut out of it. And I don't want to, if I'm going to build another Miata, like what's the point? You know, if I'm building a new car, I'm going to build an all-out race car, like a real, true race car. So that's where I'm struggling. Do I want to backdate a car to do pro spec? Do I want to not build a car like I want to for pro spec? Also, weight, 2,900 pounds is the minimum weight, whereas Pro 1, you can run that same size tire at 2,700 pounds. So you make a car nice and light, it'd still be good for clutch kickers, you can run Pro 1. So this is the dilemma I found myself in, this loop. So I know I want to do clutch kickers, without a doubt. I love clutch kickers. The series is amazing, the staff's amazing. The people are awesome. The competition is super good. Oh no, I did something. All right. The competition is super good. I mean, it is a very high level of competition. There's so many good drivers. I mean, the top 30 drivers are all super solid. So I know I want to do clutch kickers. It's affordable to run. I've pretty much broken even this year, which is unheard of in drifting. Like, I've made enough money at clutch kickers to almost fully cover my expenses. Now, I run a cheap program, I do, but still, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, I know I want to do clutch kickers. Do I want to do pro spec is the question mark. Build a pro drift Crown Vic and get a free factory sponsorship. That would be hilarious. Just plow people over. So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, jibber jabbering, but the point is, we come back to where we are now. What we're planning to build. It's back to the beginning. That's why I said it's a circle. C6 Corvette. That's what I want. That's what I've said from the beginning I was going to build if I built a new comp car. Why not a 350Z with an LS? I think 350Zs as race cars, like stripped down, swapped, are silly. They don't have great suspension. Not saying that it's bad, but they're not great suspension. There's nothing extraordinary. They're big and they're heavy. Just build a drag car and delve into something genuinely new. Pro drift isn't going to be worth the cost and stress given what you're already doing. Well, okay, so I agree with you, and I'm still planning on building a drag car. But right now, if we add another car to the fleet to build a new comp car, we're not really gonna have room for a drag car at the moment until I get rid of some stuff. I am really basically planning to build a car for clutch kickers, because clutch kickers isn't a huge stress. It isn't a huge strain. It's not stress. It's fun. It's enjoyable. And I get to compete against good drivers. So that dilemma of, do I make a car crappier for clutch kickers to make it better or to make it legal for pro spec? I'm going to lean towards, I'm just going to go with build the dang thing for clutch kickers and just do clutch kickers. And then if I find my way into FD at some point, great. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to spend the next year or two in pro spec and try to get my Pro 1 license. Well, why don't I just spend those 2 years doing clutch kickers? And if I feel like, wow, there's not a challenge left, which is highly unlikely, then step in to try to petition straight into Pro 1 and I can run the same car. Whereas Pro Spec, I'm basically going to have to build two cars. I'm going to have to build a new car, and then if I did make it to Pro 1, build another new car. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to build one new car. That's it. One new comp car and get rid of the Miata. I think you can compete in other series and jump right into FD. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that would be the move. Just do other stuff that I like doing already for a couple of years, and if I can do really well on a new car, then maybe just, hey, let's go straight to Pro 1. But Pro 1's a big jump, man. And as he said, that is a lot of commitment. It's a lot of time commitment. It's a lot of traveling. Dyno the Safiro, I need to do that. I really do. I just don't really care about dyno numbers. The car runs great. What more do I need to know? I would like to find out, just out of curiosity. It helps calibrate the butt dyno when you get cars dynoed and you're kind of guessing what they're at. So yeah, building a vet for clutch kickers. Moral of the story, but you're the Miata man. I know, full send RDS comp car. Yeah, I just want to build a crazy comp car. That's what I want. I've learned so much since I built the Miata. I feel like I can apply so much to building a new car, and I think it would be a fun build, and it's something I want to do. And I've struggled with it because I want to build a drag car, but as we talked about, I think in the last live stream, I think the better plan is to buy an already done drag car and then basically drive it, do it, see if I even like it, and if I commit to doing it in the first place, and then take what I learned from that and build a new comp car. You know, I mean, the Miata is what I built, not having any experience with that level of a car. And now I know a lot of things that I can take to the next car. So that's kind of like my thoughts with the drag car. I know only what I've seen on the internet. So to just go build an all-out car without knowing practically, like, oh, having the turbos here kind of sucks because when you pull the motor, it does this and does that, or the charge piping gets complicated. One comp car that covers more comps makes more sense. I like the Clutch Kickers Pro 1 idea. Build start date, FD 2022. Split the jibber jabber. Okay, so, oh, wait, there's another one. Hold on. If I were in your shoes, I'd build a car made for clutch kickers. You'd have a lot more seat time than FD. Exactly. I agree completely. Opinions on CD09 or T56 for an LS swap? Okay, this is a good question. I'll answer real quick. I'm trying not to get sidetracked, but T56 Magnum, they're like $3,300 brand new, and with the prices of CDs going up, I mean, you're going to spend that much on a CD swap with a new CD, and the used ones are like $1,000, $1,500. So just buy a brand new T56 Magnum, in my opinion. Now, I have one in the garage for the Safiro, but I've got to get a clutch, and I haven't found a company that can make me a clutch yet. So I'm working on that. But QuickTime makes a bell housing to the K-Series. So, I mean, I don't know for sure. I haven't driven a car with a brand new one, but a brand new T56 Magnum rated at 700 foot-pounds for the price of a new bone stock OEM CD and adapter stuff for really less, I think that's the move. Okay. Oh, man, I got sidetracked. Build plan start date. Okay, so I have a surprise. There is a surprise. I found a car. And it's pretty perfect. It's pretty much perfect for what I want to do. Get an F-body drag car, fun chassis. Not super terrible pricing. I do like them. If I want to build a drag car, I want to build something super light. I don't know what I want to build. See, that's the thing. That's why I need to get one and learn. What about a 2013 to 15 Camaro where they changed to IRS? Those seem to be decent. Why do I keep clicking this? But I don't know. They didn't ever seem to be super competitive, maybe because they were heavy. I think that kind of car, those are getting affordable, is going to be the new, like, budget seat time car. Like, throw some angle on it, coilovers, handbrake, like the same stuff people are doing to the Vettes. But that car, because you got a 4-seater, it's newer, it's going to be more comfortable, and they're like the price, or not, if not cheaper than a C6. So I think that's really a move. But I want to start with the smallest, lightest car possible. That was another ding against the Vette because they're not that light. I need your truck builds parts list. Hit up Texas Speed. I told them to release it to anyone who wants it. Why waste money on building a Z when you quickly outbuild the chassis? Smart to build the C6, which can handle everything you throw at it. I agree completely. The C6 is what I want to build. And why do I keep doing this? There's no point in building a new car. That's not what I want to build. There's no point. I know I want a Vette. There's no doubt in my mind about wanting a Vette. The biggest dilemma for me was the transaxle setup because you got to pull the whole subframe and stuff out. Hi from Washington, excited for the news, even though from being on Patreon, yeah, you already know from a long time ago what's been going on. The Patreon people are in the loop. Who's that? Blue, what are you doing? Yeah, so I know I want to build a Vette. I want to build a freaking Vette. They're freaking sick. And I found one, dude. I found this car. Crazy. Already race car stuff. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but it's happening. So be on the lookout for that. You're going to see soon. It should be happening. I don't want to freaking jinx it. Would you go for a base Grand Sport or Z06? Depends on what I could find. The car I found is a Z06, which would be freaking sick. I can't attest Patreon is where it's at. I know I slack on posting there sometimes, but they get all the details for sure. But sometimes I won't post for like 2 weeks and I feel like a terrible person. You plan on selling some cars? Yes. So I would like to I'd like to do a giveaway on the Miata. I don't think I can bring myself to sell it. My girlfriend Chrissy is not on board with the idea of me getting rid of the Miata. But the Miata wouldn't serve a purpose anymore. I have the Safiro as my drive it to the track simpler more streeter car. And then I have the 8.6 now, my low power drift car. Like I don't need a demo car. If I was gonna have a demo car, it'd be like a street style Vet. So I'm driving the same car. I think it's really important to drive whatever car you're competing in as often as possible. I think that's what really helped me and Ben. People think it's because the Miatas are small and smaller chassis, small track. If that was the case, why isn't everyone building Miatas? I mean, you could build my car for less than 30 grand, 25 grand, depending on, you could get it cheaper than that, depending on what you wanted to skimp out on, and there's 50 grand to win if it's the end all be all. Why isn't anybody else building Miatas? Why am I building a Vet if it's the end all be all? What's up, Ella? You gotta say hi to the people. She loves playing. I call it take it, because she's like, take it, take it, take it. Don't take it, don't take it, take it, take it. Oh, and here comes Blue. So yeah, I want to build a Vet. Vet's the plan. Get rid of the Miata. I think doing a giveaway on the Miata would be the coolest thing to do, just because like someone could win it. That car has like a lot of history. I just don't know that I could put a physical price on it. You know? Oh boy, you're biting my hand, bud. I think a giveaway would be better. So I'd like to get rid of that. The Pulsar is also on my to get rid of list. As much as I like the Pulsar, hold on, shop update. We'll get into that in a minute. That's longer than I thought I could say in like 2 seconds. Yeah, I like the Pulsar. Did you buy Trevor's Z06? No. I like the Pulsar. It's a cool car, but for me, all-wheel drive turbo car like that, I really want a rowdy one. I want it to be like 500 horsepower. So I think I'm not buying any YouTuber's Vet. Shane, geez Louise, thank you, Shane. That'll help a lot towards the Vet build. Thank you. Man, I keep getting sidetracked reading the comments. I don't know that I'll actually get rid of the Miata. I'm saying this now. What do you think about Bean's favorite type to eat? What? Beans? Yo, bro, when you gonna build a grip car? I keep eyeing that Pulsar. So yeah, that's kind of like what the Pulsar's for. I don't know, man. Like I said, if I had talked to you guys 2 weeks ago when I wanted to do this live stream before LS Fest, I would have told you all about how I'm building the K Series E36. So like, you can't trust me to keep my mind made up. I just kind of realized today, I don't drive super often. And I mean, I struggle to find excuses to go drive sometimes. I got the 8.6 and I just wanted to drive it. I don't like just driving aimlessly, so I'm like trying to make excuses to go drive it. Like I have too many street cars. I have way too many street cars. I'm building a street truck. I have the Safiro street car, 8.6 street car, Pulsar street car. Why do I need that many street cars? I don't need that many street cars. I'll get to drive a different car every day of the week just about. So I really struggle with that, having too many cars. Like I don't know why it bothers me, because there's some that I always know in the back of my head, I'm going to have to get rid of this eventually to make room to build something else, because there's so many different cars I want to build. But at the same time, when you think that way, the Vet will definitely need some Cletus valve covers. Oh, just wait till you see this thing, if it all goes through. Joseph, dude, just wait. Why do I keep doing that? The car has an absolutely insane engine in it. Like, insane engine. But my plan would be to put a whole Texas speed unit in it. I mean, come on. Got to do a Texas speed unit. So, yeah, I don't know. My plan would be to build the car, drive it, make sure it's good. It's not Cletus. I said it's not anybody's YouTuber's Vet. It's no YouTuber's Vet, I promise. Keep it until that new car was sorted. But once the new car is done, there wouldn't, for me, be a purpose for the Miata. And like I said, it's not even the space or the money. It's just, I don't like having cars that sit. What's your plan for the cage on the Vet? Is it LSD or spool? So it's currently got a stock trans. It's already got a cage though. It's pretty sick. Yeah, so I don't know. It feels pointless. I'd rather do a giveaway and someone get that. It's not Matt Field's car, I promise. It's nobody recognizable's car. I mean, that people would know on the internet. Yeah, we'll have to do stuff about the trans. There's going to be a video on it. I promise. I promise there will be a video on it. I was going to wait until the next video went up. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. You got one video, and then it'll be the video of the new car, assuming all that pans out like I'm thinking it will, timing wise and whatever. But yeah, the Miata, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. I just don't like having Sandy. I don't like having cars that sit. I'd rather someone use it. If I'm not using it, what's the point? So yeah, and then I could focus on other stuff. Like I said, there's so many things I want to build. Fox body Mustang for a drag car. They do seem to be the best. I'd love a notch top Fox. But I've turned into that guy who doesn't want to do things that's common. I guess maybe it's because of YouTube, like, and knowing, like, if you do something common, people aren't going to be that interested. Glad you found this one. Makes me think about the demo that Odie sold. Yeah, so this car is different. It's not a complete running driving car, but it has some really baller parts on it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted. The Pulsar, I want to get rid of. The 8.6, I plan to keep. Safira, obviously, plan to keep. The big truck, I plan to keep. The little truck I plan to keep it, but again, I don't need that many street vehicles. You know, maybe that I'll get rid of down the road to make way for a full-on drag car. I don't know. There's so many ways it could go. But like I said, I just can't. I can't stack up 10, 15 cars. Like, I just can't do it. It's just, I can't enjoy any of them when I have so many. Like, even with the amount I have right now, it's hard to enjoy and really focus on and appreciate any one of them, because it's like, oh, do I want to drive the Pulsar to the gas station or the Safiro or the 8.6? Like, and I got to decide instead of just being like, yay, I'm driving the Safiro. So that's a struggle I have. So I'd probably get rid of the Miata. Christy might not let me. But that would be the plan. Would any of you be interested in a giveaway? I guess it's kind of a limited market because it's pretty much a race car. It would just be cool to see a fan. Hey, I build something different other than a Mustang drag car. Yeah, the other thing about the drag cars is it seems like you can kind of build whatever you want and kind of like set up the suspension to be like good. You got a ball this time. That's like one of the appealing things to me about drag cars is you can kind of build one from whatever. So I don't know what I'd build. Like I said, I think the move is going to be to buy a car that's already done and start doing it. And then I'll learn quickly like what I like and don't like and implement all that stuff into building a new car, if I even decide to. Have you ever thought about the K48 Honda, the Neutron engines? Yeah, the V8 K-Series. I mean, that would be sick. But for a comp car, I don't know that would be the best engine because parts and things like that. You should build a drift car for a giveaway. I would definitely be interested. I might do a giveaway on the Pulsar too down the road. But I've got a turbo upgrade for it and stuff I need to do. And then I'll probably fall back in love with the car again. And then I won't drive the Sphero or the 8.6 because that's my life. I talk like this is a problem. Back in the day, if I had any one of my cars, I would have been over the moon. Over the moon. And I remember that to this day. You know, I think about it. When I look at it, I'm like, dang, dude, this is my car. Personally, I would love to see you in a GTO or a G8 over the Vette. The Vette's just so good. The chassis is so good. S10 with all-wheel drive K-Series set up for drag racing. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool, Joseph. Dang, why you gotta put these ideas in my head? I've already thought about, well, if I get this Vette, what if I pull the fancy engine out and put a K-Series in it because it could be super light? I'm like, no, what are you doing? No. LS, NALS, that's the thing. For comp cars, like, simplicity is key. As much as I want to do things different, simpler it is, the better off you are. You know, LS parts, you can get them at the track. Someone has one. A standard G-Force GSR. You can find someone to loan one to you. Suspension parts, you might know someone that has it. LS BRZ. I did think about a BRZ FRS. Everyone complains the rear suspension sucks, and I like grip. Do I still have the motion rig? Yes, it's right there. Can you see it? Boom. I just haven't played much. I pretty much work 7 days a week from, I would say 10 by the time I get out there to like 8 or 9 at night. So like by the time I get in, then I shower, then I eat food, then I get all sleepy because I just ate food. You know, it's too late. It's too late for me to jump on and play. Next time you're in Atlanta, let me take you for a ride in my grip and response built R32 GTR. Yes, that would be pretty sick. So is the Holley Terminator worth it? Yes, 110,000%. I don't know why people would use a stock ECU in a swap now. You think about it, stock ECU, let's say you have it. Nice harness, $400 or $500. HV tuners, $500-600. Wideband, $200. You're already over the cost of a Terminator, and it comes with a wideband and a little screen and the ECU and the wiring harness, and it tunes itself. Ben's car, we ran on the Holley base map for a year, or I guess it was like 10 events on the Holley base map with self-tuning on, just the map it creates when you do the thing, and it ran perfect. Ran perfect. Do a giveaway on the Miata, but also include drift day at the track. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, it would be weird though, just to see someone else drifting the Miata. That would be weird. I mean, I could just outright sell it, but again, I don't know. I've wanted to do a giveaway for a while. I was going to give away the RX-7, and I was like, well, I can get the 180. I can kind of fix it up and do a giveaway on it down the road, enjoy it a little bit. And I was like, I want to keep it. And then I traded it for an E86, so I don't know. Freaking can't make up my mind. 3.7 Cyclone, 13-7 Mustang. What? That's confusing. I don't know what you're saying. Sorry. Proud of you, man. Wish you lots of success. Thank you. Miguel? Cross cart with a sport bike engine because no side-by-side yet. That would be cool. Those cross carts are insane, dude. They are wild. They're kind of like the dream four-wheeled motorized vehicle for me. Because like you can rip on-road, you can rip off-road. They're super light. They rev high, sequential. FD team with add-on. If I had to pick one of your cars, would be the Pulsar. It's a cool car. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool car. It's just like, if I want to make more than 350, it's a can of worms. It's a rabbit hole. Got to do an upgraded trans. Got to do a built motor. And it's an SR and a front-wheel drive SR at that. So like finding parts to do that kind of built motor is difficult. That's the one thing about JDM cars that I think a lot of people don't realize when they want one. It's hard to find parts. It can be the simplest thing and you can't find a part. The Pulsar had a brake caliper go bad and I had to convert it to USDM stuff and change everything and re-drill rotors, you know, because they never made that caliper here and you can't get it at the store. James, thank you for the great content. Do you have a problem with a sister build to the Miata? No, that would be awesome. Copy paste, especially if you're going to do a drift car, just literally copy paste. That would make me happy. I never care if someone copies me. That's the point. That's why I give you guys as much detail as I can. So you can if you want to. Okay. Shop update has been asked a lot. Really no new news. Supposed to go up in November. Hopefully we're still on track. S550 out of the picture. Yeah, they're just so big and heavy. I don't want a big heavy car to start with because then it's going to be way more expensive to make it light. And the lighter the car is, the less tire you need, the less power you need, the less wear on the drivetrain, the less everything. So, yeah, shop update. The plan is for that to be hopefully November. So hopefully that actually happens. I'm not holding my breath. In theory, I should be tearing this shop down in a couple weeks. I mean, we have the permit and everything. It's really just, you guys are ridiculous. It's really just waiting for the material. Of course, as most of you know, everything is so backed up. The C6R with angle would be sick. Yeah, that would be an epic car. It wouldn't be legal, though, for even clutch kickers. Oh, my God. Look out, Doc. Look out. Oh. Poor Doc. You all right, bud? He's already gone. He ran into the door head first because the dogs are running at him. Sorry, Doc. Yeah, so hopefully that happens. I've been trying to kind of get everything set up. I've got a container on the way. So I'll be able to start putting stuff in there, and then that's where I plan to store hopefully everything from the shop that's not going in the garage while I work out of the garage. Ideally, I'd like to get the truck most of the way done, and maybe even the 8.6. I guess that doesn't have to be the truck most of the way done before then, so we can hopefully have the new comp car, starting the new comp car in the garage, and just kind of go head first at that. But I still got to figure out what direction I want to go on things. Engine, platform, like how I want to do it, naturally aspirated, nitrous, roots blower, turbo. There's a lot of questions. Have you pursued road course stuff? Brandon, a little bit. I did the karting stuff, which I need to get back into. It's just tough, man. It's tough to it's tough to keep up with like two different motorsports. It's a lot, you know, because a weekend is a lot, you know, to go to Clutch Kickers. It ends up being 5 days from end to end because I'm doing everything myself, you know, and loading the trailer, mounting tires, prepping the car, changing the oil, loading up, driving there. That's a day. 2 days there, driving back, unloading. So it's a lot. So then to go the next weekend to go race go-karts or something, it would leave me like 3 or 4 days during the week to actually work and get stuff done. And I never get builds done. You know, maybe once I get to a point where I'm like, don't have a huge desire to build anything new, or maybe got like one project I want to build, maybe then I can kind of just focus on motorsports. But people don't even seem to like watching the motorsports stuff anyway. That's kind of another struggle. It's like, it's hard to want to do things that nobody wants to see. Because it's kind of like you got to take off work to go do it, because you don't want to film it and saturate people with something they're not interested in. But at the same time, it's like you want to do it. So that's a struggle. But I really like road course stuff. I would say wheel-to-wheel racing, I've only done it in karts, is very comparable to drifting for me in terms of enjoyment. The feeling of like setting someone up for a pass like 3 corners before, like following them lap after lap and like seeing where their weak points are and then getting by them, it's so much fun. So I love it. Spec Miata, dude, Spec Miata can be crazy expensive though. People put like 50-60 grand into a stock Miata. They have $10,000 blueprinted stock engines. That's the problem with spec sports, man. There's just people out there with a bunch of money, and they'll spend whatever they got to spend to gain 2 horsepower. They'll dyno like 10 different header and intake combinations to get an extra 1 horsepower, you know. But that was what I was considering. That's what I was considering doing. Spec Miata. Go-karts are really the move. The 206 karts, they're super cheap. You can't really cheat. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to cheat that I don't know about. There's just not a whole lot of advantage to be gained doing really anything. It's a sealed motor. The chassis are simple. Like that's a good. I just need to go do it more. I gotta go fix my axle still. Brett has a axle for me at Bushnell. I just need to go get it. But I'm a slacker. Too focused on. Oh my! Drop my lid. Drift cars and race cars. That stuff takes a lot of time. Okay. Win the scholarship on iRacing. Dude, iRacing will tell you that you don't have a future in road racing. Go to the kart track, win races. You're like, man, I'm actually pretty decent at this. You get on iRacing and just get demolished when you get into the higher classes. It's crazy. People are so good. And the sim's interesting because it's like way lower barrier to entry than real racing, having a car. So you get a way bigger field, and therefore you get way more talented drivers, and you kind of, the mid-grade people start to spread out. It's interesting. There's just not that many people that do it, you know, in real life compared to on the sim. Is the Corolla 8086 a forever car? I plan for it to be, for sure. I love that car. Want another one. I don't intend on ever getting rid of it. Quetus announced that you and Kevin will be co-driving my mullets. That is a banger team. Can't wait for you guys to win. Dude, hopefully. Man, the last one was rough for me. I got like just a slow car at first, and just things went wrong. My fault, a lot of them. And I think I don't even remember what happened at this point. Then I got in another car, and I was mobbing. I was like caught up to the leaders, could have passed the leaders. I was like, where was this car last time? Before I wrecked, it was laps down. That was rough. Yeah, no, me and Kevin should be able to do well. It just, I mean, the last race, I stayed in second. I led the race at the beginning of the first half. I ended up behind Bowman, and I was like, I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to wear the car out. I'm just going to ride behind him as long as we got the people behind us covered. Boom, finished the middle stint in second. Kevin got in, boom, got into first, rode first pretty much the whole race until like 3 laps from the end, and someone pit maneuvered him. Yeah, that was pretty rough. That's like the first one, the Freedom 500. I think I got into the lead about halfway through the race and led most of it, and then Quetus cleanly passed me right before the end. he set me up for it. I didn't defend because I thought I already had enough ground gained, and he passed me. That was clean. But then I got bumped from behind and ended up getting third at the last second. Should have Brent tune the Safira while he's in town. That is a good idea. Thank you for mentioning that. The pits and stuff really makes it unfun. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing that's tough. We need... Sandy, people want to see you. Sandy. That's what makes it tough. Because you got people who want to take it serious. And it's not even that, like, I'm trying to take it, like, serious. Like, this is some crazy... My life depends on this race. But, like, I want to race. I want to race clean. I'll race you clean. Like, I just want... Let's see who the fastest driver is on that given day in the car. And when you get people that are out there who, like, just... They don't have a chance at winning. They don't even have a chance of being competitive. So they just, like, pit maneuver people for no reason. That sucks. How's the one wheel? Amazing. Best pit vehicle ever. I couldn't imagine not having the one wheel and going to the track. G-body. I would like to do a G-body. I'd really probably, I don't know. I don't know. Sprint car. I thought about that. The dirt oval stuff seems fun. What happened to little guy? He moved in with Ben. He now lives with Ben. Ben and Tuck Jr. So little guy's doing good. Kittens are all adopted. G-body drift car? No, probably not. There's a lot of things I would build if I had a bigger budget and a limited space. And I don't know. Even then, I still wouldn't. It would be stressful having that many cars. I don't know how people do it. What are grill skills looking like? What does that mean? Grill skills? I don't know what that means. Like grilling? I don't like grilling. I like cooking on the stove. Said what he's gonna... Yes, I said pro, we're building a vet. That's the plan. Finally decided. It's convinced. Cooking. Yeah, I like cooking. I cook my steaks in a pan. I think they come out way juicier. I've never really had someone cook them on a grill and I thought it was good. Same with burgers. I might be weird. You don't build a one-of-a-kind drifter. You're a self-funded guy. The reason people all do the same thing is off-the-shelf parts, keeping the car on the road. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you always see people like, oh, man, K-swaps are the next fad. It's just everyone jumping on the hype train. And it's like, it's not about the hype. I'm sure for some people, it's about the hype. Some people, that they build cars for the hype, right? But most people... If there's a thing a lot of people do, let's say a K-Series swap that a lot of people are doing, it's because there's support available now. There was no real support available for a rear-wheel drive K-swap until Toge Factory came out with a swap kit. And then when that happened, everyone started building K-swap cars. It wasn't because everyone was building them that everyone started building them. Everyone started building them because there was now parts available. It's the same thing with the Vet. When I had my Vet, nobody made an angle kit. We had to like custom make our own angle kit that didn't really work that great. And nobody else was drifting one. Pretty much nobody besides Dirk Stratton, who's the OG Vet person. People always say it's Matt Field. It is Dirk Stratton. Dude, he had a Vet as a comp car well before anyone had Vets or even considered a Vet. When I did my Vet, everyone told me I was crazy, that would be a terrible comp car. And what do you know? They work really well. But point is, Vets became super popular as seat time cars when companies started making bolt-on angle kits. And that's what you see a lot. And that's why building, people say, oh, build this freaking 2001 AMG Mercedes drift car. But there is so much more to building an oddball car like that than trying to build something normal, like that has off-the-shelf parts. So, I struggle with that a little bit. It would be cool to do something different, but it's just like, it doesn't make sense, especially for a comp car. Building something just for the fun of it, that's different. Unless you have Papadakis level of funding and support, you go with the next best thing that has aftermarket support. Yeah, but even they, like their car was basically, I think, an E36 in the rear. Texas Speed 427 time. You already know. That's the plan. What year is the Vet? I'm not gonna give away too many details yet. Just know I'm planning on building a Vet regardless. I have found a really great car, and hopefully it all pans out. Hopefully it's all good. So if it is, you'll see it in 2 to 4 days, something like that. House update. House is good. I would like to redo the kitchen, but I've got so many freaking 1,000 things I want to do and need to do. There's a tree behind my shop in the neighbor's yard, which the dude owned that house, and then I guess it was for rent, and now there's like a bunch of renters there. And the tree is dead, and it is a very, very tall pine tree, and it is like real dead. And if it falls, it'll probably crush my trailer or my shop or both. So I need to get that cut down. That's a thing. I gotta go talk to them and figure out. I mean, I'll pay to cut it down if anything. It'd be better than it falling on my shop. 427 is going to be spicy. Will there be any turbo, supercharger, nitrous in action? So my idea at the moment, just wait till you see this car, dude. Just wait. You guys are going to get hyped. You're going to be hyped. It's cool. My idea at the moment, 700 wheel in ALS combination, especially for clutch kickers. I think that's perfect. If we can get the car down to 2,600 without me in it, I mean, that would be realistically about what the Miata weighs. The Miata is about 2,550. That would be sick. I mean, because then we'd have two, let's say we're 50 pounds heavier, but with 200 more horsepower and way more tire. However much tire we want to fit, we can fit. Sandy, they were asking for you. Come here. Sandy, come on. Come say hi. There's Sandy Sands. You gotta look up there. Say what up. Everyone wants an update on Sandy. She's just doing her thing, living her life. Hold on, let me try to just kind of. Sandy, look this way. Look at the camera. She's like, I'm not normally up here. Why am I up here? It is not an imposter. This is Sandy Sands. Didn't you hear her talking? Now Blue's in here. Got all the animals. Chelsea wouldn't sell his BMW comp car. Too many memories. I also don't want to build another E46 chassis. I like them. I think they're good cars. I kind of dislike them. Nobody can tell me exactly why they make grip, because they have a weird suspension design that is really obsolete. But somehow they make grip, but nobody will tell me why. They'll just tell me, oh, they make grip. You ask anyone who tells you that an E46 or an E36 makes grip, why does it make grip? Why? See if any one of them will tell you why. Where are you out of in Florida? Central Florida. Is it Griffin Burke's Corvette? I don't know who that is. Tyler, would you ever think about circle track car? Honestly, yeah. After doing the Freedom 500 and the way mullets, like circle track racing is honestly a lot more fun than I thought it was. But it's cool because you get a passing opportunity twice a lap, and the lap is, I mean, obviously it varies, but let's say 20 seconds long. So every 10 seconds, you have a passing opportunity if you're next to someone. Mopar, something, heartbreak. So electric vehicles, I've seen. Would you sell the A86? No, at least not right now. Where's Sandy? She's right here, dude. Are you guys not watching? The thing about electric vehicles, same with like a tube chassis car, right? With the EPA stuff, the RPM Act or the Clean Air Act, what they're trying to do is make it to where if a car has ever been, Sandy, you're blocking the thing, has ever been on the road and had a VIN, it has to conform to emission standards, even if you are driving that car for racing only. And the reason why they're doing that is not because the emissions of race cars, they're doing it because then they can tell parts manufacturers, oh, you said this is for race use only, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's for a race car or a road car, it still needs to comply with emissions, so they can shut down the manufacturers and then shut down people putting the parts on street cars. Which, I mean, that's definitely what would work, but that sucks. So I'm not going to start building tube chassis cars until I have to. If I had to build a tube chassis car because the EPA managed to get its way, then cool, I'll build one of them. Same with EVs. I'm not going to build an electric vehicle until I have to build one. Because there's going to come a day in our lifetime, guaranteed, where we have to build electric vehicles. And you know what? I bet when that time comes, everyone's hyped about it now and they see an electric car. And I mean, it's cool that people are trying to push the envelope with it. But when the time comes, it's not going to be, oh, this is so cool. It's going to be, dang. Remember when we had engines that made noises? We're at the end of an era. We're in an interesting time to be alive as car people. Wild Bill, not guaranteed. I don't know what's not guaranteed. The electric car thing? I mean, I hope not. I'm being a pessimist. Sandy, you gotta get down, dude. I'm sorry. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about EVs, EPA trying to hurt the little guy. Yeah, the EPA, it's just silly. It's all silly. Our emissions are just fractional in comparison to other stuff, and we won't get into it. I remember what I was getting at. We're in such an interesting time because the way things are going law-wise, government-wise, I feel like we're coming up on the end of an era. I hope that turns around. I really do. I don't know what I'd do without cars. I really don't know what I would do without cars. I'm sure I'd find something, but I need engines and things being different. Imagine everyone had the same electric motor in their car and they made the same power. It'd be terrible. But anyway, that's the downside. The positive side, it has never been cheaper to make horsepower, ever. I mean, think about it. You can buy a $500 turbo, $1,000 standalone, $500 worth of fuel system on a junkyard 5.3 and make 1,000 horsepower. Dude, 15 years ago, if you made 1,000 horsepower, you were a god, right? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's crazy. It's crazy where we are now with technology, the cost of car parts, and the market growing, and it's awesome. But they're trying to shut it down, and that sucks. So I'm really hoping things go better. I've also heard on the Ignite Instagram page they were talking about it. Not only are they doing all the stuff we know they're doing, but they're also going to tracks and like soil sampling and saying, oh, you have contamination. You've got to spend all this crazy amount of money to clean it up or shut down. Oh, now I'm getting to the point where I can't talk. So when they do that, then the tracks are going to shut down because tracks don't make that much money anyway. It's not like many tracks are making bank. I try not to think about it. Try to just live my life, do my thing, and not worry about it. Are you going to do a coyote swap? I think those motors are pretty freaking cool. They're just big, man. I don't think people realize how big those are. Like an LS is a very tight package. There's a reason why LSs are so popular. It's not hype, like we talked about earlier. It's not about hype. It's about usability, parts availability, simplicity. Like there's a reason that things are popular. Keep that in mind next time a trend in the automotive community happens. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some trends, like a stance camber trend or whatever. There's trends that are just trends. But, a lot of people, it's not about that. It's about what's logical. I'm a pragmatic guy. Like, I like to think of what's logical. That's why I struggle with the comp car build, because I'd really like to do something cool and different, but I'm a pragmatic guy. I know that that's not the right move if I want to have a reliable comp car. I'm not going to have a team of 10 people to work on the car. I can't have something crazy. It needs to be simple. Just going to be a few of us, me, Raldo, and Josue, hopefully. And, we can't be like changing wastegates on 5-minute calls and stuff, So it needs to be simple. Moral of the story. That is the one downfall of the Vette, is they are more difficult to work on. But I'm thinking if we do things right, we put the trans in the front, I think we can make it easy to work on. The Corvette is not from the Pacific Northwest. You can talk underwater. Okay. No, it's not from the Pacific Northwest. It's not. Don't worry. Love the jib jab. Thank you. Can I moderate the jibber jabber whenever you go live? I'm already a moderator for several other YouTubers. Sure. Email me. I could use the help. I need to have someone here with me doing this and like reading comments, because then I gotta freaking scroll and I'm just staring at y'all, staring at me, and then trying to find a freaking good question, and then I get distracted because I'm still trying to talk while I'm looking for the question. Who knew we needed jibber jabber hour this much? I hope you go live more frequently. Let me know. Comment if you think I should do this more often. Normally I say I'm going to do it again and I don't do it for a year. Last time we did it was like, a month ago? It's fun. I really enjoy doing live streams. So if you're going to do a Vette, Kraken Kepler, carbon Kevlar. Is that what you're trying to say? Or carbon fiber? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what he's trying to say. I don't know, man. I struggle with that. Dude, that's expensive. Trying to buy like carbon body panels for a vet. I mean, you're talking money. Money for things you're going to smash into walls and other people are going to smash into. Like, that's crazy. That would be tough. I mean, in comparison, the Miata has some fiberglass rear over fenders, and that's all that's been done to the body of the car. That's it. So, to buy a bunch of carbon panels, that's, I don't know. It would be cool to see in your shop a whiteboard. That's a good idea. I should do that. So, speaking of checklist for future builds, game plan is, we got to get back on the turbo truck. I can't push that thing on the back burner. It's taking up a ton of space in the shop, and it's a car I don't mind keeping outside. And now I've got cars that I like keeping inside that I don't like keeping outside, sitting outside because the truck is stuck in there because I'm working on it. So I need to work on that. That I probably can work on it more tomorrow. Get the Zafiro sorted out. There's just a few things I need to do to it to get it back in tip-top shape because we're going drifting. I kind of want to start working on the A86. Oh, we got to fix the Miata. That's a big thing. New subframe, a mount kit is coming, different mount style. We shouldn't rip the subframe apart again. So I need to build a new subframe and get that in. That's a big thing. And I think I need to redo the exhaust and put a new radiator in it. Not redo the exhaust, but change the flex joints to slip joints. They keep breaking. So there's a few things to do to the Miata. And then in theory, if all this new comp car thing goes well, this clutch kickers round coming up in a couple of weeks might be the last competition round for the Miata. That's kind of crazy. You know, that's crazy to think about, the end of an era. The thing with that car, make a list with priorities of each thing. Yeah, it's a good idea. The thing with that car is I built it to be a good street car too, and just to drive local events and, you know, whatever. I didn't build it to compete. And then I've tried to morph it into a comp car, but I don't know. It'll be nice to build a car, clean slate, as a full-on comp car. Make everything as easy to work on as possible, and just make it all, I don't know, as best it can be, because we're building it from scratch. So, yeah, someone said something was a terrible idea. Where did you work before YouTube? BC Racing. So I worked at BC. Before that, we'll start at my normal job history. I'll give you a rundown real quick for the new people in the back. Started at Steak and Shake, first job. Got hired at Advanced. Was like, this is amazing, my dream job. I'm working with cars now. This is going to be so cool. Not that cool. But I did manage to kind of work my way into running the commercial department there, which was pretty cool. And then from there, I went to O'Reilly's because I left the commercial and tried to go back to college, and then a construction job. I worked at a dealership for a week, then a construction job. That was rough. Worked there for like a year and a half, working 18-hour days. Rough. And then BC. I was at BC for like 5 years. And then Holley EFI for the comp car. Yes, because Holley is the best. But that's another annoying thing about Prospect. This is why I struggled so hard with the idea of Prospect. You have to run a Link ECU. How silly is that? Like, you've run the same ECU forever, you know the software, and now you got to run a Link? I'm not saying anything bad against the Link, but in LS, I'm going to run a Holley. I know the Holley. The Holley is basically designed for an LS. Like, it's silly that I would have to run something different. So I think the idea of run clutch kickers, maybe try to find other big shootout events next year and just kind of do that for the next year or two. And if I really feel like I'm ready, then cool. I can just try to go straight into Pro 1. I don't know if they'll let me, but, you know, if I was able to top 3 in clutch kickers and have a couple wins or have really good results in clutch kickers, I don't see why they wouldn't. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think that's a better plan than building a car that fits all these Prospect rules that are getting harder and harder to work around to then rebuild it to be a Pro 1 car. I might as well just build a Pro 1 clutch kickers car right now and then do whatever the hell I want with it, you know? Honestly, I'm happy just doing clutch kickers, honestly. I love clutch kickers. I would love to see clutch kickers grow more than it already has and become a true competitor to FD. Or there to be something like that. Something in the middle, which clutch kickers, you know, it is that. But I can't say enough good things about clutch kickers. I love clutch kickers. He did do a diesel build the Fummins. Yes, built the Fummins. Someone asked the plans for that. Really nothing. I'm going to try to put some injectors in it. That's like one thing that could fail on a road trip. That would suck. And we just did that trip. I mean, my biggest fear. Okay, I love towing. I don't know why. I just enjoy it. I enjoy towing. It just feels cool. I know it's silly, but I enjoy it. I like having the trailer. I like going on road trips. I like the gas station stops. I like all of that. I enjoy it. But I'm always stressed out. I'm going to break down with my truck and trailer a long way from home. And, you know, if you did that in a car, boom, pay someone to ship it, $1,000, whatever, get the car home, fix it at home. If you do that in a truck with a gooseneck trailer, with a car and 40 tires and tools in it, like you're really stuck with having to fix it there, whether you pay someone to do it or you do it yourself. So anyway, that's a big fear of mine. So something I'd like to do is new injectors in the Fummins, just to peace of mind. The engine has like 250,000 miles on it, and maybe more than that now, probably 260. And I don't know if they were changed or not. I know you were slammed with stuff, but any plans to go back to Japan? I don't know how. Can we go back to Japan yet? Is that a thing? Are the borders open? I would love to. I need to. Ben needs to go. Ben, every time we talk about it and I'm like reliving it, I'm like, why am I not there right now? I need to do that. Please put some carbs on the 86. That is the plan. I'm carbing the 86. I'm surprised a lot of people agreed. I thought a lot of people would be like beam swap, but way more people agreed with doing carbs. That's what I want. That's what that car is for. It doesn't need to be some crazy 200 horsepower NA. It just needs to be as fun and nostalgic and different and cool as possible. Like, I want that car to be as old school as possible. I might put a freaking cassette player in it. I don't know. I want it to be old school. And the noise of carbs and the simplicity of the bay having the carbs, it's like, if I'm going to do that on a car, that's the car to do it on. So I might as well scratch that itch, you know, of wanting to have carbs on something. I mean, you could do the beam swapping carbs, but the beams is a complex engine, dual VVTi and stuff. Like, you'd have to run a standalone still, and then I'm like, why are you putting carbs on it? So I don't know. No, probably not. The beams with ITBs would be cool, and it comes close, but carbs. I want it to just not start up, and then I got to go turn a screwdriver to adjust the air fuel mixture screw. That's what that car needs to be. Del Loritos. I was going to buy Weber's. I was about to order Weber's, but I don't know anything about carbs other than Weber 45 DCOE. I know that's the thing that commonly goes on these kind of engines. Sup, T-Ray from New Mexico. What up? Been there. When are you going to fix the F-350 bed? Dude, honestly, probably never. Probably never. It's like pretty much irrelevant. Like, it looks okay, and it's got a little hole from the rust from the bed liner, but doesn't really matter. To be honest, FD would take you to Pro Spec right now. Yeah, I would assume I could petition into Pro Spec for sure. Because I've done 2 rounds of Pro-Am in Texas. I won both of them. And then I've done, I've won and finals a couple of rounds of clutch kickers and done well in the season. I would assume they would have let me, go into Pro Spec. The question is, if I do really well for another couple of years or another year or two, will they let me petition into Pro 1? Would I even want to go to Pro 1? I don't know. That's a lot. Dude, and now that I've competed, I realize just how good the drivers in Pro 1 are, the top dudes. Like, to see them, the final couple of battles, like literally running door the whole lap in a comp battle in those cars, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I mean, it's crazy to run that close to someone who wants you to be there on a track you've driven 1,000 times. So the drivers at the top in Pro 1 are at another level. And Pro 1 itself as a whole is at another level. Ideally, run clutch kickers, make a name for myself. Drifting gets bigger and there's a team and I can do an arrive and drive. That would really be the way to do it. I wish Dr. Pepper would sponsor me. I drink a lot of them. Probably way too much. Don't drink soda. It's bad for you. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Any advice to get over being nervous starting a YouTube channel? Oh, there was a good question. Just do it. Just try it. You never know what's going to happen. When you're learning to talk to the camera, you just got to remember that there's people on the other side of that camera. I just talk to the camera like it's a person. Obviously, they're not saying anything back right now, but they will. This is a good question. This is kind of off topic, but I forget, I should have wrote the name down of who asked it, but he asked basically, what was a project that I found intimidating back when I was learning how to work on cars that now I'd kind of laugh at and be like, wow, that was so easy. And that was 100% wiring. You know, I remember back in the day, we always talk, oh, I hate wiring. Oh, I hate wiring. That's what everyone says who's afraid of wiring or who doesn't know how to do wiring. That's what we all say. If you actually know how to do wiring, it's really easy. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's complicated. Like, I'm not the guy who's going to go like open up a factory 2020 cars harness and figure out an issue. I'm not that guy. But wiring a chassis harness or an engine harness, really not that bad. And that's something I was so afraid of back in the day. I wouldn't touch it, had no idea what I was doing. And now I'm like wiring up a relay sounded terrible back then, terrifying. Like, I don't understand why this is even here, let alone how it works. And now I'm like, dude, so easy. Speaking of, would anyone be interested in a wiring basics video? Like how to wire a chassis harness, kind of when to use fuses and relays, what kind of types of switch panels to use / different things, other than just the freaking stupid switch panels. I don't like most of them because you can't trigger anything with the ECU. Okay, a lot of people said yes. I'll work on that. Maybe I'll work on that in the next week or so. Because I want to say I could explain it. We'll make like a board and just, yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't know the basic stuff. And once you know have that basic understanding, it's all pretty easy. And even then, I knew how to wire, and I was afraid of wiring an engine harness. I thought it was going to be so different. Literally the same thing. Like, it's either a sensor or an output. The sensor usually has power, ground, sends a signal out. The output is usually power and ground. And then some sensors are just resistant, so it's just wire in, wire out. Pretty simple. We'll do it. We'll make a video. Thank you guys for the input. Someone said, would you ever do a rotary? I was thinking about like rotary in the 8.6, but like, no. That's silly. I would like to do a rotary at some point. I just know nothing about them. So it's like, it's a big barrier to entry. Like, I'd have to learn so much to even get started. Do I stop being dumb and LS swap my already working 50240, or is that dumb and just use the car since it works? That's tough. Is it fuel injected with like a standalone, or is it carbed? Those are good questions. Man, it depends on how much you've driven it. If you've driven it a lot, I would just say, then yeah, go do LS. But if you're just trying to drive, if it runs and drives okay, just drive it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it now, because you might change your mind and want to do an SR after driving it more or something. Don't do an SR. When's the next Silverado video update? It'll be 2 videos from now, because we've got a Sphero video. We did some projects on it. New car, potentially, assuming everything goes according to plan. We'll have a new car video, the new pro car, comp car build, and that's Silverado. I'm going to start working on that. Okay, probably about time to wrap it up here. Get your last questions in. Thoughts on LS Fest track? Track was honestly pretty intense, like a lot more intense than it looks. Like trying to ride the wall, it's like straight and then like jagged around. So like if you're on the wall in the middle, you'll hit it at the end. It's a really strange line, and it's honestly pretty fast. Like you are cooking coming off the bank and across the middle. I mean, top of third gear, flying. Man, I was hoping for a no prep build. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna buy a no prep car. I gotta get the shop done first, because when I tear the shop down, hopefully next month, if we're on schedule, I'm gonna have like room for 1 car in the garage with all my stuff to work on it, and everything else is gonna have to be outside. That's gonna suck. So I don't want to add another race car to that, especially if I'm about to get a race car to build a new comp car. But you see the dilemma and why I need to get rid of the Miata. You did a video setting up the office. Quick review of this setup. I don't know what setup. You see anything about what if you give your girlfriend the Miata and teach her how to drift? She doesn't want to drift. She has her horse stuff. Horses are to her like cars are to me. She is obsessed with horses. That's her whole life. Cars are my whole life. It works. You should take Project Binky level build in the new shop. I would love to do that. I would love to do a build like that. That is a cool build. If you haven't seen Project Binky, check it out. It is good. Love the channel, favorite channel for sure. How's the house treating you? House has been, I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it. I'm happy. I'm happy. I got some plans. We're getting a fence for the pups. The permit's done on that well before the shop one. Hopefully that goes in soon. I want to build a privacy fence across the back. There's like one directly behind it, but then we got new neighbors on the other part, and that's the only people that can like see into my yard and me into their yard. So it'd be cool to have a privacy fence there, and then we're just like completely private, boxed in. That'd be nice. But I love the house. Oh man, I wish the new one was up already, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. I guess we'll sign off with the plans for the new shop. A bunch of people asked that. I mean, I thought I explained it in the video, but I guess not fully. 16-foot walls, 30 by 50. I originally was planning on changing the lift location. Instead of them being at the doors, have them like off to the left, so that I could pull another car in with like 4 cars on the lifts. But looking at it more, it's just not really wide enough for that to work well. So I think I'm going to revert back to how it is now, like lift in front of the bay, lift in front of the bay. Then I'll have 30 feet or more from there, build a 20-foot loft off because I'm getting 16-foot walls, so I might as well take advantage of that height, that height as much as I can. So I have a 20 by 30 loft, like that's huge. That's way more storage space and room. So that's kind of my rough plan right now. I'm still waiting on this is 100% happening this time shop ETA. Because that's also going to determine drift week. If the shop's supposed to go up right in the middle of drift week, I might have to miss drift week, which I would be real bummed if I missed drift week and then the shop didn't even go up. So I don't know. That's all still up in the air. Hopefully I have a firm ETA soon that I could start, finding contractors for electrical, spray foam, getting the AC system done, building the loft, and hopefully everything can go quick. Can we email you with other questions? Sure, but I am terrible at replying to anything. If you ever message me, I don't reply. Trust me, it's not because I think I'm too cool or anything like that. I don't even reply to my friends half the time. They always make fun of me for it. I just don't go on my phone very much. Like I spend like less than 2 hours a day on my phone. Because if I get distracted and start replying, and then I'm replying to 5 people, by the time I finish replying to the 5, one's replied, and then you're just on your phone all day. I don't like being on my phone. You mentioned setting up a cop car is sort of like setting up a no prep car. How hard would it be to make Miata a drag car? I mean, you could. I don't know. I don't like the idea of like the Miata drag car. If I'm going to build a drag car, I'd like to build something new and different. It's something cool and American, like old and American. You know what I mean? Build something different than I usually get to build because I'm always building based around what's good for drifting, what has good suspension geometry, and what's lightweight, and so on and so forth. It'd be cool to build something that didn't have to fit into those boxes of criteria. Draven Oberlink? Weren't we roommates? What? I think Miata would be a good grip car. Yeah, it probably would with a different setup. Gotta drift the Cephei at Adams Compound. Yes, I need to do that because I'm eventually gonna wrap it or paint it. It'll probably happen I'll decide to do it and then just go the next day. So I need to do tandems while it's still kind of a similar car. All right, I said gasser Miata. That would be kind of cool. I love gassers, but I don't know if it's old school enough for that to work. Any advice on those trying to LS their Miata? It's a lot of work. It'd take up a long time to explain, but it's definitely time consuming. Take your time, do it right. 12 valve Cummins drag build. I think those are cool and all, but I don't really understand the point of like building a heavy truck with a heavy engine to go drag racing, and it's like you got to make 2,000 horsepower to run a 10. For me, I'm all about what's logical. The lighter the car, engine, I don't know. So I could never get into a drag diesel build, but they are really cool. I saw one on the 1320 drag week. It was pretty baller. The loping with the compound turbos, it's sick. Lewis or Max for F1 Drivers Championship? Ooh. My brain says Lewis is going to end up winning it. My heart hopes that Max wins it. I really want Red Bull to win before the era of Mercedes domination is over. I'd really like that, because if they win next year, people are going to be like, well, it's a new car. Doesn't matter. So I really hope that they can do it. But I don't know, man. It gets frustrating to watch F1. Some of the penalties. People complain about FD and FD judging. And I'm like, this is an entirely judged sport. You're going to have some differences of opinion. F1 is like the most outlined sport you could imagine, and there's still huge differences of opinion. Like, you're always going to have differences of opinion. The judging in FD, like, I don't envy them. I would not. Yes, it would be cool for Honda to win on their final year as well, Tucker. I don't envy a judge. Everyone wants to hate on the judges, and these judges suck, and we need new judges. Dude, try to do their job. Tell me how it is. Because, 3 places for the small crash, the F1 penalty on Max. But 10 seconds for Lewis on a crazy freaking 180 mile an hour crash? Come on now. I try not to think about it too much. It gets frustrating. But anyway, judging, tough. So cut some FD drivers some slack, or FD judges. I mean, and they're changing. They're adjusting what they do and how they do it as they learn. I mean, and they're continually learning. The way they judge now is totally different than 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I feel like they did not put much weight on the lead run. They really just looked at chase versus chase, and like, unless there was something drastic in the lead run. And now they're putting huge weight on the lead run, which they should, because you can have the same chase driver follow this guy who does a buttery smooth lead, puts the car exactly where it's supposed to be, does everything right, and he'll be on his door. Then you can have him follow someone who's super wonky and not following the right line, and he might be 3 or 4 cars back. The lead is crucial. Thoughts on starting with subframe and diff collars versus going urethane or solid bushings? Depends on the car. I would say that's probably a better move, especially if it's a street car. I just do solid bushings because they're easier to find. Like the Safiro, I should have absolutely done poly bushings. I don't know why. I just bought solid bushings because that's what I'm used to. I'm just like, solid, it's better. I like having I don't like having all solid mounts, because if you have all solid mounts in a car, there's nothing to absorb the shock. That shock is going into the diff and the axles and the drive shaft. Whereas when you have rubber mounts, like, yes, it's some power loss, but it can help soak up, a hard clutch kick or something like that. I mean, that's why the BMW Trans normally has a rubber guibo. So it's good to keep some rubber in the drivetrain. Automotive gymnastics be like that. Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. The judging it's part of it. There's definitely people cheating. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely people that play games. But we got people that play games and clutch kickers, man. You can't beat it. Max has to win this year. Next year is going to change everything. I agree, Mark. No, I mean, you it's one of those things. I don't get the people that play games. For me, I want to win on merit. Like, even winning that clutch kickers round, because I didn't have to battle Adam because his car broke, like, I almost felt like I didn't earn it. And then I'm like, dude, you battled Taylor Hole as a Pro 1 driver and won last year, and you beat him heads up, not even a one more time. So you got to take the win at the same time, but I don't want to win on BS. If I just, like, lucked my way to the finals and won, I couldn't even hardly feel proud of it. I would be more proud of making it to the top 8, battling all shredders and having all good battles, than lucking my way to the finals. For some people, it's all about the win. It's all about the Instagram post that they won and holding the big check. It doesn't matter how they got it. For me, all that matters is how I got it. And it sucks because people will be like, oh, the Miatas, are so small and they're so great for this track and they're so light. Well, first off, they're like 25, 50 pounds. There's people with lighter cars there than that, bigger tires. 2, like, it's people always have to blame the equipment. If you're winning, if you're doing well, it's always the equipment. So instead of realizing that me and Ben kind of have the same practice program, that makes it sound serious, but the fact that we drive our same cars a lot, and we drive together a lot, and we push the limits a lot, and we drive often, instead of it being that, it's because Miatas are small. So it's just funny how that all works. But yeah, even that bugs me, was the point. I'm like, did they really think I'm only winning because of the small car? So we're gonna build a vet. It's a big car. We'll see how it goes. I think same weight with 200 more horsepower and a bigger tire is going to be a lot more advantageous than a little bit shorter car on a small track, but that's just my opinion. Only time will tell. I am excited to finally build and drive a new car. I used to drive a bunch of different cars. I haven't really driven much different in a while. Okay, last question. Have you seen the new angle kit Josiah made for the WRX? It's my car in the FDF videos. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I wonder, people are really starting to build those in the drift cars. They're pretty cool cars. I like them. Yes, okay. So to end it off, Vette, Pro Clutch Kickers, new comp car build. Shop, hopefully November, but don't hold your breath. We don't know a firm date yet. That's the rough date. Gonna be working on the turbo truck soon, and gonna be working on everything else, putting carbs on the 8086 because it'll be super cool. This is the hard thing because all these projects I want to do right now, like the Safiro, I've got a T56 I want to put in it, and like I want to pull the motor and paint the bay. I want to do that right now. The 86, I'm about to order carbs, and I want to do that right now. But then the new comp car, if that gets here, I want to do that right now. Turbo truck, I want to do that right now. So we're going to be doing all of them, bouncing back and forth between them. Blake Wilkinson, I will check my emails. No more about the Corvette. You guys will see it. I'm gonna end it out. So thank you guys for the live stream, the donations that will go towards the Vette build, and everything. This was a lot of fun. Let me know if you want to do it again. But for now, that's it. I just got to figure out how to end it. Okay. All right. Goodbye. Thank you guys.